It was 3:02 in the morning when the knocking started. 3 slow raps against the front door. I sat up in bed, my heart already thumping. Nobody should be here. My street was quiet even in daylight, and no one ever knocked this late. I waited, straining to hear. For a moment, nothing but the hum of the refrigerator down the hall. I almost convinced myself it was a branch against the siding. Then came another knock louder, this time, and more deliberate. I reached for my phone. No missed calls, no texts. I tried to swallow, but my throat was dry. A memory surfaced to my grandmother warning me when I was little. If you hear a knock after midnight, don't open the door. Not for anyone. I thought it was just an old superstition, but in that moment it didn't feel silly at all. I slipped out of bed and crept to the window by the stairs. Carefully I pulled aside the curtain and looked down at the porch. At first I didn't see anything. The porch light was off. I squinted, trying to adjust to the dark. That's when I noticed a shape standing just beyond the step stool, motionless. It was a man, or at least it looked like one. He wore a hood pulled low over his face, and his arms hung at his sides in a way that made my skin crawl. He didn't knock again, but somehow the silence was worse. I backed away from the window, willing my hands not to shake. I thought about calling the police, but something in my gut told me not to draw attention. I turned to go back to my room and heard a voice right outside the door. "Please, let me in. It's so cold out here." The voice was wrong. It was too calm, too practiced, as if someone was reading the words from a script. I didn't answer. I held my breath. Then the voice spoke again, closer to the window this time. "I know you're awake." A cold dread spread through my chest. For the next hour, I sat on the floor in my bedroom, listening to footsteps circle the house. Sometimes he knocked again, always 3 times. Sometimes he simply stood there waiting. Finally, just before dawn, everything went quiet. I waited until the sky began to lighten before I dared look outside again. The porch was empty. No sign anyone had been there at all. I never found out who or what came to my door that night. But I moved a few weeks later and I still sleep with the lights on. And if you ever hear knocking at 3 a.m., don't answer.